Chapter 3. Old Waller brought him in bad. Sometimes they come in not so bad. Speculators bring them to sell sometimes, all in a wagon. Sell them from the wagon, and Waller, he buys them, one or two or whatever, right from the wagon. Sometimes Waller, he goes for to buy them at some other place and brings them home in the wagon, sitting in the back. Old Waller on the seat with a pistol in his belt, sitting like he thinks he's big. Other places near here, other places have what they call overseers to use the whip and to use the gun and go to get them. But not here. Waller, he loves to carry the whip and carry the gun. And so he rides in the wagon his own self and makes on to be big. Sitting there like he don't know we hate him. But he can bring them in good or he can bring them in bad. And with NightJohn, he brought him in bad. Not in the wagon. He was walking all alone in front of the horse. Waller riding the big brown horse in back. Had a rope down and over to a shackle on NightJohn's neck. Rope tied to the saddle. So when the horse stopped, NightJohn, he stopped, jerked on his neck. Waller, he brought NightJohn into the main yard near the quarters out in the open, yelling and swearing at him, yanking on the rope. NightJohn, he didn't have any clothes on, stood naked in the sun. I was by the quarters carrying water to wash the eating trough before it was time for the evening feeding, and I saw them. Standing in the sun with the rope going from his neck up to the saddle, tired and sweating because Waller ran him. Dust all over him, flies around his shoulders. His back was all over scars from old whippings. The skin across his shoulders and down was raised in ripples thick as my hand, up and down his back and onto his rear end and down his legs some. I wondered why he was bought with all the marks. When they be marked that way, people don't buy them because it means they hard to work, hard to get to work. But he did. Waller, he brought NightJohn home and ran him naked till he sweated and the biting flies took at him, and I was there and saw him come in. I'm brown, same as dark sassafras tea, but I had seen black people, true black, and NightJohn was that way, beautiful. So black, he was like the marble stone by the front of the White House. So black it seemed, I could see inside, down into him, see almost through him somehow. In a little, Waller, he untied the rope. Then he cracked the whip once or twice like he'd be a big man and drives NightJohn past the quarters and out to the field to work. Didn't matter that he'd been run or might be thirsty. He didn't stop at the jump, but ran him right on through and out to the fields, naked as he was born, to get to hoeing. He come in bad, and it wasn't until late that night, after dark in the quarters, that I learned his name. Mammy, she made canvas paints for the new men when they came, sewed them from the roll of tarp cloth we used for all our clothes. She gave a pair to NightJohn when they came in from the field, but he didn't have time to say nothing because it was time for the evening food. 2 times a day at the wooden trough, that's how we eat. Mornings they pour buttermilk down the trough and we dip cornbread in it and sometimes pieces of pork fat. We take turns on a calabash gourd for a dipper to get all the milk out, except the little ones don't always get much of a turn and have to lick the bottom of the trough when it's done. For midday meal,